And some breaking news just into us. Federal prosecutors just filed new charges against a Mexican state governor and 9 other current and former Mexican government and police officials for allegedly conspiring with cartel leaders, including the sons of El Chapo.
DOJ and all of the agencies involved will continue to dismantle this transnational criminal organization, lock these criminals up, and keep our country safe. These defendants will...
Hundreds in handcuffs after a huge bust worldwide. An FBI investigation based in Southern California fooled criminals into letting them...
The DEA and law enforcement in Colorado announcing a record-breaking fentanyl bust. Agents say it's connected to one of the world's most powerful drug...
I can confirm at this time that the FBI is investigating this incident as an act of targeted violence.
This story begins on a cold morning in late October on a private lake in the northern part of the state. The kind of lake where the water turns slate gray in the fall and the white pines along the shore stand absolutely still in the early hours before the wind picks up. The kind of lake where you can hear a paddle hit the water from a quarter-mile away. The kind of lake where the families that own the shoreline properties have owned them for generations, and the families that work on those properties have worked on them for generations too. His name was Donovan Pelk. He was 51 years old, a boat mechanic and dock contractor based in a small town in the northern lake country. He had been working on boathouses, docks, and lakefront mechanical systems across the region for 26 years. He had a small shop, 3 employees, a reputation among the people who hired him for being the kind of mechanic who finished a job properly the first time and did not talk about other people's properties. On that October morning, Donovan was doing a routine off-season inspection on a boathouse he serviced every year. The property was a substantial lake house owned through a corporate trust by what the locals had quietly understood for years was the governor's family. Donovan had been working on the boathouse since the property changed hands roughly 9 years earlier. He had inspected the boat lifts every fall. He had winterized the dock electrical system every year. He knew the boathouse the way a carpenter knows a piece of furniture he has been maintaining for a decade. That morning, he was checking a hydraulic seal on the main boat lift. He was kneeling on the boathouse's lower platform, working at the waterline, when his wrench slipped and skidded down the concrete foundation that ran beneath the platform. The wrench fell farther than it should have. Donovan knew the construction of every boathouse he serviced. He knew, intimately, how deep their foundations went. The standard depth on a lake of that size with the kind of bedrock that ran beneath the shoreline was roughly 5 feet below the waterline. He had been part of the construction crew on 3 boathouses in that same lake basin 20 years earlier. He knew the building permits. He knew the foundation specs. His wrench fell at least 11 feet before it stopped. Donovan looked down into the gap where his wrench had vanished. The concrete beneath the boathouse platform extended far below the standard foundation depth. There was a separate, enclosed structure beneath the boathouse. Finished concrete walls, finished ceiling, with what appeared to be a sealed access point set into the floor of the lower platform. He had been working on that boathouse for 9 years. He had never noticed the access point because it had been concealed beneath a section of platform decking that was, on paper, fixed in place. He had never noticed the depth of the foundation because the boathouse's official blueprints, on file with the county, did not show anything below the standard 5-foot foundation line. But the boathouse he had been kneeling in was sitting on top of something else. Something the blueprints did not acknowledge. Something approximately the size of a small underground office. Donovan retrieved his wrench. He finished the inspection. He drove home that afternoon and sat in his pickup truck in his own driveway for almost an hour, the engine off, looking at the steering wheel. The next morning, he called the FBI's Minneapolis field office from a phone at the back of his shop. He did not give his name on the first call. He gave them the location of the boathouse. He told them what he had found. He told them that he was not going to come forward unless they could promise him his family would be safe. He did not sleep that night, or the night after. On the third night, an FBI senior special agent called him back on a number she had quietly obtained, asked him 3 questions, and arranged a meeting at a coffee shop in a town 40 miles away. That meeting was the beginning of a 15-month federal investigation. If you believe corruption like this should be brought into the light, hit like, subscribe to the channel, and comment exposed below. The investigation moved with extraordinary care. The target was a sitting state governor, a two-term incumbent with significant national political profile, a well-funded donor network, and the kind of personal security infrastructure that made any approach to his private residences exceptionally complicated. Every step that federal investigators made had to be documented twice, witnessed twice, and verified twice. What investigators assembled over those 15 months was the structural picture of an operation that had been running for nearly 12 years. The governor was a man named Edmund Halverson, 66 years old, two-term sitting governor, former state attorney general before that, former federal prosecutor before that. The kind of state executive whose resume made him appear, by every conventional measure, to be exactly the kind of official the federal corruption recognition system would never have any reason to suspect. For 12 years, his office had been operating a parallel financial structure that ran beneath the formal apparatus of state government and beneath the personal financial reporting that state ethics requirements would have otherwise made public. The operation had nothing to do with state contracts. It had nothing to do with executive branch decisions. The governor had been very careful, across his entire political career, never to allow his actual governing decisions to be visibly distorted by his secondary activities. What he had been doing instead was selling something different. He had been selling the use of his name, his political profile, his personal legal credentials, and his network of professional connections to a major cartel money laundering organization operating across the upper Midwest and into Canada. Specifically, he had been allowing his identity and his legal credentialed reputation to be quietly attached through layered corporate ownership structures to a network of shell companies that had been used to launder cartel proceeds through legitimate-looking real estate investments, agricultural commodity trading firms, and recreational marine equipment distribution businesses across the upper Midwest. The shell companies did not look like fronts. They looked, on every public record, like respectable Midwestern businesses operating in industries that fit naturally into the regional economy. The governor's identity had never appeared on any of their public filings. His ownership had been layered through trusts, through holding entities, through fiduciary intermediaries, and through corporate ownership chains rooted through 3 offshore jurisdictions. But his name and his reputation had been the protection layer beneath everything. Federal banking regulators reviewing the shell company's transaction patterns had occasionally encountered indicators that suggested closer scrutiny. Each time, the trail had quietly led to professional intermediaries whose own credibility was anchored. The man who had implemented the operation on the cartel side was a man named Klaus Rentmeyer, 55 years old. Wealth management advisor, the kind of senior private banking professional who operated out of a quiet office in a small commercial building in a suburb of the state capital. His client list was small. His reputation in the industry was unremarkable. He had no public profile. He had been the cartel network's lead financial architect in the upper Midwest for 18 years. But Rentmeyer, in the structure of this case, was a coordinator. He was not the strategic architect of the protection layer that had allowed the governor to participate in the operation without ever appearing on a federal corruption radar. Within 6 months of his retirement, Edmund Halverson, then between his first and second terms as state attorney general, had quietly retained him as a personal legal advisor through a corporate cover called Boundary Waters Strategic Counsel, LLC, operating out of a commercial office in Madison, Wisconsin. Inside the encrypted communications archive that investigators eventually recovered, Walter Brindle's code name was The General. At 4:52 a.m. on a Wednesday in the second week of April, a federal judge in the Western District of Wisconsin signed simultaneous search and arrest warrants for 17 locations across the upper Midwest. At 5:18 a.m., the order went out. The dawn timing was deliberate. The governor was at the lake house that morning. He had taken 3 days of personal time, an arrangement his official calendar described as a private weekend with family. His wife and adult son had returned to the state capital the previous afternoon. He was at the property alone. Location 1, the Northern Lake House. FBI and ICE tactical teams approached the property through the access road and through a secondary tactical entry point via the lakeshore from a small marine unit deployed on the water during the night. The property's private security personnel were secured without incident. Federal agents entered the main residence at 5:42 a.m. Edmund Halverson was inside the residence. He was awake, sitting at the kitchen window watching the lake in the gray light before sunrise. He did not resist. He asked twice, whether his attorney had been notified. He was told that his attorney would be contacted through the appropriate federal protocol. Beneath the boathouse platform, behind the concealed access point Donovan had discovered, agents accessed the vault. The vault was approximately 480 cubic feet of finished, climate-controlled subterranean space, sealed beneath the standard boathouse foundation and accessible only through the modified platform decking. Inside, agents recovered the following: approximately $58 million in U.S. currency, banded and shrink-wrapped in commercial bank packaging, accumulated across the full 12 years of the operation. Approximately 110 kilograms of gold bullion. Offshore banking documentation tied to accounts in the Cayman Islands, Panama, Switzerland, and the Cook Islands. And a smaller hidden compartment containing 5 foreign passports, 4 in different names, for Halverson and members of his immediate family. Location 2. Klaus Rentmeyer's office, suburban state capital. Rentmeyer was inside the office at the time of the raid. A document shredder was operating. Inside a back office, behind a built-in cabinet, agents found a black rack-mounted server, running, active, and transmitting. Cyber analysts began extraction immediately. Rentmeyer did not resist arrest. Location 3. Boundary Waters Strategic Council Office, Madison, Wisconsin. Walter Brindle was inside the office at the time of the raid. He had been working late the previous night and had slept on a couch in his private library. He did not resist. He asked in a measured voice whether he could speak with his attorney before being transported. The agents confirmed that he could. Inside a back office, behind a built-in cabinet, agents found a second black rack-mounted server, running, active, and transmitting. Cyber analysts began parallel extraction. Location 4. Walter Brindle's residence, West Madison. Brindle was already in custody at his office. Inside the residence, agents found a home office server concealed inside a built-in cabinet in a private library. Backup drives spanning the full 11 years of his post-retirement operational record. A wall safe containing approximately $810,000 in cash, and a hidden floor compartment containing 6 foreign passports, 5 in different names. Location 5. Office of the Governor, State Capitol. A secondary FBI team executed a federal warrant on the governor's official office suite. 5 senior staff members were detained for questioning. Agents executed a full federal seizure of the office's electronic records, internal communications, and personal correspondence relating to the offshore consolidation accounts identified in the investigation. The investigation made no findings of public corruption involving the formal exercise of executive branch authority. The case involved the governor's personal participation in the laundering network. The state government itself was not the operational target. Locations 6 through 17, 12 additional locations, including the registered offices of 9 shell companies across Wisconsin, Minnesota, and northern Illinois, 2 cartel-affiliated logistics properties in the Twin Cities area, and the private residences of 3 corporate intermediaries who had managed the offshore consolidation accounts and the layered corporate ownership chains. By 11:14 a.m. that Wednesday morning, 44 individuals were in federal custody. I want to come back to Donovan Pelk, because there is something about how this case actually broke that I think matters more than any of the dollar amounts. The case did not break because of federal money laundering surveillance. It did not break because of state ethics reporting reviews. It did not break because of investigative journalism into the governor's personal finances. It did not break because of any of the institutional systems that the public believes are responsible for catching public corruption at this scale. The case broke because a 51-year-old boat mechanic dropped a wrench that fell 11 feet farther than the county permits said it should. A wrench that on any other day with any other mechanic in any other boathouse might have simply rolled out of sight and been written off as the kind of small frustration that comes with a long career in lake country mechanical work. But Donovan Pelk had been working on boathouses in that region for 26 years. He knew the foundations, he knew the permits, he knew the rock that ran beneath the shoreline. And when his wrench fell 11 feet farther than it was supposed to, he understood, in that immediate, instinctive way that comes from a lifetime of working with your hands on a particular kind of structure, that he was kneeling on top of something that had not been built into any blueprint anyone had ever filed with the county. He made the call. The operation had been running for 12 years before Donovan dropped that wrench. It had survived 12 years of state ethics reviews, federal financial crimes surveillance, banking regulator audits, journalistic investigations, 2 gubernatorial election cycles, and the careful structural design of a former senior DOJ attorney who had spent 32 years building the very federal framework he was now quietly running operations against. It did not survive a boat mechanic who knew, beyond any doubt, that the foundation beneath a boathouse he had been maintaining for 9 years was not the foundation the permits described. If a laundering network this large could operate for 12 years inside one of the most heavily monitored state executive offices in the upper Midwest, moving $2.3 billion in cartel value through 58 shell companies protected by nothing more than a single state governor's reputation, how many other boathouses on how many other private lakes are sitting tonight on top of foundations that no county permit acknowledges? And how many of those boathouses are waiting for someone like Donovan Pelkey to drop a wrench at exactly the wrong angle?